The entertainment world is reeling tonight after what insiders are calling the most embarrassing incident in Golden Rooster Awards history unfolded just hours ago, leaving fans devastated and demanding answers. Popular actors Soo Kai and Tan Songyun, who have captivated millions with their on-screen chemistry and individual talents, were reportedly expelled from the 36th Golden Rooster Awards ceremony in what witnesses describe as a chaotic and heartbreaking scene. But here's the question everyone is asking. Were these rising stars victims of incompetent staff work, or is there a darker conspiracy at play? Sources close to the incident reveal that what happened backstage was far more emotional and complex than anyone could have imagined, with Soo Kai's visible distress captured by multiple attendees who couldn't believe what they were witnessing. Did you notice the tears streaming down Soo Kai's face as security personnel guided him away from the venue? What you didn't see will break your heart even more. The drama began approximately 2 hours into the star-studded ceremony when confusion erupted near the VIP seating section where Soo Kai and Tan Songyun had been positioned alongside other A-list celebrities and industry veterans. According to eyewitnesses who spoke exclusively under condition of anonymity, event staff members approached the two actors with urgent expressions and what appeared to be official documentation, engaging in a heated discussion that quickly drew the attention of nearby attendees and photographers. Within moments, the situation escalated from a quiet conversation to a full-blown controversy as more staff members arrived on the scene, creating a spectacle that no one in attendance will soon forget. Security personnel were then called to the location, and despite the actors' apparent confusion and protests, they were asked to leave the premises immediately, with Soo Kai's devastated expression visible to dozens of witnesses who described his eyes as filled with tears and disbelief, as the reality of the situation sank in. When Tan Songyun reached for Soo Kai's hand to comfort him, cameras captured a moment so raw and emotional that fans are now questioning everything they thought they knew about the entertainment industry. The immediate aftermath of the expulsion has sent shockwaves through social media platforms across Asia and beyond, with the hashtag Justice for Soo Kai and Tan Songyun trending worldwide within 30 minutes of the incident becoming public knowledge. Fans who had been eagerly watching the live broadcast and those following updates on various platforms expressed outrage, confusion, and heartbreak over the treatment of two actors who have consistently demonstrated professionalism and dedication throughout their careers. Video footage that has since gone viral shows Soo Kai with his head bowed, clearly struggling to maintain composure as Tan Songyun walked beside him, her hand supportively on his shoulder as they were escorted toward the exit by stern-faced security personnel and event organizers. The contrast between their earlier arrival at the ceremony, where both actors had smiled and waved to fans on the red carpet, dressed in stunning designer outfits and radiating confidence and excitement, and their humiliating departure could not have been more stark or devastating to witness. The question that has dominated every entertainment news platform and fan forum since the incident occurred is deceptively simple yet impossibly complex. Why were Soo Kai and Tan Songyun removed from the Golden Rooster Awards ceremony in such a public and humiliating manner? Initial reports from the event organizers were vague and contradictory, with official statements mentioning seating errors and credential issues, without providing any substantial details or explanations that would justify such drastic action against two respected industry professionals. However, sources within the production team have begun to paint a very different picture, one that suggests a cascade of organizational failures and miscommunications that ultimately resulted in two innocent actors becoming the victims of spectacular incompetence. These insiders claim that the root cause of the disaster can be traced back to inefficient staff management and a series of critical errors made during the planning and execution phases of the event, errors that should never have reached the point where paying attendees, much less invited celebrity guests, were affected in such a traumatic way. According to information obtained from multiple sources familiar with the situation, the controversy began weeks before the actual ceremony when invitations and seating assignments were being finalized by the Golden Rooster Awards organizing committee. Soo Kai and Tan Songyun, both having achieved significant success in their respective careers with critically acclaimed performances and massive fan followings, were extended official invitations to attend the ceremony as honored guests, with Soo Kai also nominated in the Best Actor category for his transformative role in a period drama that had dominated viewership ratings and critical discussions throughout the year. The invitations were reportedly sent through the actors' management agencies with all the appropriate documentation, including seat numbers, arrival times, and protocol information that one would expect from a ceremony of this caliber and prestige. Both actors accepted the invitations enthusiastically, understanding the significance of the Golden Rooster Awards in the Chinese entertainment landscape, and viewing their attendance as both an honor and an important career milestone that would validate their hard work and growing influence in the industry. Where did everything go so catastrophically wrong, you might ask? The answer lies in what industry experts are now calling a perfect storm of administrative incompetence and systematic failure that somehow went unnoticed until the worst possible moment. Sources reveal that somewhere in the chain of communication between the organizing committee, the venue management team, the security contractors, and the various department heads responsible for guest coordination, crucial information about Sukai and Tan Songyun's attendance was either lost, misrecorded, or never properly entered into the master system that staff members on the ground were using during the actual event. This catastrophic oversight meant that when the actors arrived at the venue and presented their credentials at the check-in station, their names appeared nowhere in the official registry that security personnel and ushers were instructed to follow without deviation or exception, setting the stage for a confrontation that could have been easily avoided with even basic competency and attention to detail. The situation became even more complicated when the actors were initially allowed entry into the venue after a frontline staff member made the executive decision to verify their identities through other means and grant them access based on their obvious celebrity status and the physical invitation documents they carried. This well-intentioned but ultimately problematic decision bypassed official protocol without properly documenting the exception or updating the master system, creating a time bomb that would explode spectacularly once higher-level management became aware of the unauthorized access. Sukai and Tan Songyun proceeded to their assigned seats in the VIP section, completely unaware that their presence in the venue was about to trigger a series of alerts and complications that would culminate in their public ejection from the ceremony in front of hundreds of witnesses and potentially millions of viewers watching the live broadcast or following updates on social media platforms. Approximately 90 minutes into the ceremony, during a particularly important moment when awards were being presented and speeches were being delivered by industry legends, venue management conducting a routine security sweep discovered the discrepancy between the physical guests in attendance and the names registered in their system. Upon identifying Sukai and Tan Songyun as unauthorized individuals, according to their flawed database, panic set in among the management team, who feared potential security breaches and liability issues if their presence was not immediately addressed and resolved according to strict protocol. Rather than discreetly investigating the situation or consulting with the organizing committee to verify the actors' legitimate invitation status, a decision was made at the management level to remove them from the premises immediately, prioritizing what they perceived as security concerns over common sense basic research or consideration for the human beings involved and the devastating impact such action would have on their reputations and emotional well-being. What transpired next has been described by witnesses as absolutely heartbreaking and completely unnecessary, as security personnel approached Sukai and Tan Songyun during a brief intermission between award categories. The actors, who had been enjoying the ceremony and supporting their fellow industry colleagues while anticipating the announcement of Sukai's nominated category, were suddenly confronted by stern-faced staff members demanding they leave the premises immediately due to credential issues that required urgent resolution. Confused and increasingly distressed, Sukai attempted to explain the situation and show his official invitation documents, but the security team, following orders from management without the authority or inclination to exercise discretion, insisted that protocol demanded immediate removal regardless of any documentation the actors might possess that contradicted the information in their system. The emotional toll of this sudden accusation, and the implications of being labeled as unauthorized or potentially dishonest attendees, visibly devastated Sukai, whose eyes reportedly filled with tears as the reality of the situation became clear. For an actor who has built his reputation on professionalism, integrity, and respect for the industry and its institutions, being treated as though he had somehow attempted to gain illegitimate access to a prestigious event represented not just a logistical nightmare but a profound personal humiliation that struck at the core of his identity as an artist and public figure. Witnesses report that his hands were shaking as he tried to maintain composure, his voice breaking as he attempted to explain and defend himself against accusations that should never have been leveled in the first place, his entire demeanor reflecting shock, confusion, and deep emotional pain at being put in such an impossible position. That it was at this critical moment that Tan Songyun demonstrated the loyalty, compassion, and strength of character that has made her beloved by fans and respected by colleagues throughout the industry. Rather than focusing on her own distress or attempting to distance herself from the situation to protect her own reputation, she immediately positioned herself as Sukai's advocate and emotional support, speaking firmly to the security personnel and staff members about the obvious error that had occurred while simultaneously offering quiet words of encouragement to her distraught colleague.